Hunter Biden's ex-girlfriend, Zoe Keston, is on the stand. Her testimony comes after his ex-wife, Kathleen Buell, testified about how her husband of 2 decades struggled with addiction. Prosecutors are hoping these witnesses will help prove that the first son was using drugs when he bought a gun in 2015. CNN's Evan Perez is in Wilmington, Delaware. Evan, first of all, this is moving very quickly. But tell us what happened with Hunter Biden's ex-wife and whether prosecutors got out of her testimony what they were hoping, or whether or not she maybe helped the defense more than prosecutors anticipated.
Well, she certainly was one of the most anticipated witnesses, Dana. You know that she is the former wife, and she came here under subpoena. She said that in court, and she was here to sort of help prosecutors with the major part of their case, which is that she witnessed him. Again, finding drug paraphernalia. She witnessed some of the drug use around the time that they're interested in, which is 2018. He bought this firearm on October 12th in 2018, and prosecutors don't have any evidence that on the day that he bought the gun, he was using drugs. That's what Abbe Lowell, the defense attorney, is sort of driving home. But prosecutors have tons of evidence, and you're seeing the volumes there being presented to this jury. Kathleen Buell was on the stand for the prosecution about 15 minutes. Under cross-examination from Abbe Lowell, she acknowledged that she did not exactly remember the date when she found some of these this proof of his drug use, and that's when she found out that he was using drugs. That's perhaps a little helpful for the defense, but the evidence that the prosecution has is overwhelming, and they're trying to essentially overwhelm the jurors. Zoe Keston just took the stand just a little while ago, and one of the things she talked about is that she met Hunter Biden at a gentleman's club, and that she saw him smoking from what she said was a strange pipe, and she assumed it to be crack cocaine, which of course Hunter Biden has admitted he was using during this period. Now the question is, for the jury, will they buy the doubts that Abbe Lowell is trying to sow with some of his arguments? Dana?
All right, Evan, thank you so much for that reporting. Really appreciate you being there in that courtroom for us. I want to bring in criminal defense attorney Ron Kuby. Thank you so much for being here, Ron. I just want to start where Evan left off. Based on what we are hearing from the testimony of Kathleen Buell, what is your sense of the impact of that, considering that the prosecution was trying to get her to talk a lot about Hunter Biden's drug use, and of course, considering that they were married for 2 decades?
There's no doubt whatsoever that the prosecution is successful and will continue to be successful in portraying Hunter Biden during this general period as a drug-addled wreck of a human being. Indeed, Hunter Biden himself admitted as much in his own memoir, which we'll just call that a confession, which he then helpfully narrated in audiobook form, which was played yesterday at trial. But what the defense is doing here is kind of remarkably clever and remarkably careful whether or not it's going to work. First, Abbe Lowell is arguing that Hunter Biden didn't knowingly lie on the form because he thought when he was asked, "Are you using drugs?" that meant right now. That is, it's like Clinton's is. Are you right now stoned? And they can't prove that he was. And number two, that as addicted as he may have been, like many addicts, he didn't identify as a drug addict. He resisted internalizing his addiction until he went for rehab and treatment and finally came clean. So I think it's a good defense. I just don't know if it's going to work.
Yeah. And just taking a step back for our viewers who are not very familiar with the charges, we call it a gun trial. The idea is, and the indictment is about possessing a gun and not telling the truth on the form that he was, in fact, allegedly an addict. Because you mentioned that audiobook and what they played in court yesterday, I want to play that for our viewers.
No honor among us crackheads. In Nashville, I was a bloodhound on the scent. Like everywhere else I'd bought crack, I knew I could go there cold and in no time assess what highway to get on, what exit to get off at, what gas station to pull into, and what unsavory looking character to choose as my newest, most trusted associate.
I mean, first on a human level, this is just sad, incredibly sad. He has obviously very publicly talked about his addiction. Yes, that could play into the prosecution's case, and the prosecution is hoping it will. But the flip side, and I want you to speak to this as a veteran and famed defense attorney, could that actually make Hunter Biden more sympathetic to the jury?
It totally makes him more sympathetic. And what Abbe Lowell really is doing is a variety of jury nullification defense. And in order to do that, in order to get the jury to kind of disregard some things, first you need to make them want to acquit your client. And I think the evidence is doing that. You know, there's a redemption here. Here was this drug addict, and now here is this fine-looking, clean, sober man. The jury is going to want to find a reason to vote not guilty. And Abbe Lowell is trying to give them a variety of reasons to vote not guilty in this kind of hunt for reasonable doubt. And once the jury has decided to hunt for reasonable doubt, they'll usually find it. And this is, say again?
Oh, I didn't say anything. Keep going. I think there was a little bit of an interruption. Finish your thought, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. It basically, jury nullification works in these kinds of cases where nobody was seriously injured. The offense was transitory. It can be explained through addiction, and now the defendant is a much better man. Although, frankly, jury nullification has a bad history in the United States when it comes to crimes of violence, particularly against people of color.
Yeah.
But that's not this. This is a basic drug or gun case.
Ron, I always learn so much from you every time we speak. Thank you so much. I hope you come back soon.
That's up to you. Just got a call. Thank you, Dan.
We have your number.